All right, we are live according to YouTube. Welcome everybody to, I believe this is episode 3, and we're going to start with turn 5 of Battle Above the Clouds, the Great Campaigns of the American Civil War game from Multi-Man Publishing. I have here Pat with me. How's it going, Pat?
Hi. How's everybody doing?
Put the tweet out, because I always forget to do that. And we made some off... Go ahead.
I had the tweet ready, and I thought I lost it, but I didn't. So.
Okay,
good.
We have made, or Pat has made some off-camera adjustments between turns here since we took last week off due to things we're not going to talk about in the stream, and things on my side, that is. But that resulted in most of the Confederate stuff not, in fact, being out of supply at this time.
Yeah, so it's more a matter of me being a newbie and understanding that, oh, I could have used the supply rules to my advantage to absolutely not, have half the Confederate army out of supply.
Right.
In terms of what was received that turn. Like, yeah. So I think we're good. The bottom line is, it is everybody around Bragg and everybody, obviously, who's in or north of Chattanooga is in supply. And there's some guys that we'll see as we go through that are out of supply. Like the Cav in the south, basically.
Right.
That's kind of where things sit right now.
So these guys down here. What about those guys coming in off the map edge? Those guys actually strat moved all the way to Chattanooga, as I recall.
Correct. You are correct, sir. Right. And everybody else was wagons. Yeah. So carrying supply, in fact. So go figure. So
all right, very good.
Yeah. So I think. You, O Keeper of the sequence of play, we should begin.
All right, yeah. Let's. Where we left off was up to the action phase, so we are ready to just hop right into the action phase of turn 5. Let me check the turn record track real quick, which is this thing.
I'm 1,000%. Well, 1,000%'s very strong comment, but I'm damn near positive. Let's see, 1, 2.
All right, we had not moved the turn record marker up yet.
Correct.
Or is this turn 4?
This is we just did the strategic stuff.
So that makes this turn 4. Okay.
Does that occur? That occurs before?
No, it's after the action phase on turn 4. So this is turn. What I figured was this is turn 5. I just didn't move the turn record marker up.
Right. So that's my touch tone here. So we just did supply and all the strategic moves and all that stuff, right? To bring it to the action phase. So if all that stuff occurs at the end of 4, then yes, it is September the 2nd.
All right, very good.
Yeah,
all right, so we are the point at which we just roll off.
Hello?
I'm still here.
Is your push to talk on?
No. Can you not hear me?
All right. No, I hear you fine now. You just kind of like faded into.
Oh, that's just Discord probably.
All right. So so let's go. I guess we should be. Oh, you rolled?
Yeah, I rolled.
Okay, I guess I should be rolling. All right. Whoa!
That is an insubordination check. We are going to check probably Polk. So he is -2 for highly insubordinate. And
what was our special event this turn? I think it was beat the Federals or something.
1 second. That was last turn. Special event. I think we had something that didn't actually apply.
Okay.
Actually, I think it was delay Confederate reinforcements. So it doesn't result in anything on the map. It just results in the reinforcements all getting pushed back by a turn.
Okay, so Polk. So where we're at now is Polk's got a roll, and he's got a +2 because he's highly insubordinate, but he's very close to Bragg, under his thumb.
Yeah, but that just means he doesn't get another +2. So,
right. Yeah. So rolled a 2, 4. He does not insubordinate.
Okay, he is not insubordinate. All right, roll off for initiative. All right, that is Union Initiative. So let's see what we can do here.
Good afternoon, John Longshore. Glad your chiming in tells me that we are coming through loud and clear.
Now, there's a couple things that I do know that I want to do. I just don't know that I want to do them right away. I'm going to activate Force 5.
Where is Force 5?
Oh, just south of the big army concentration. A little bit, about 12 hexes south, it looks like.
Oh, right. Those guys.
This is a leader activation.
Okay.
So that's an 8. All right. Initiative.
Let me see where you moved to. You're heading on up that way. All right.
32-14, yeah.
Let's roll. Oh,
okay, that's another Christ. Union initiative. Oh, let me...
yeah, you need to fatigue... Yes.
Nope, quite right. Let me...
I have been able to win initiative in these turns to save my life.
I'm going to activate Minty. This is not a leader activation, so he just gets 7. 1, 2. That's an extra 1 for leaving the Zoc.
Right.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why don't you go ahead and reveal that Force 9 for me?
Sure. That's the Force. And let me throw some stuff.
I figured. I had been all set to ask you, so wait a minute, how's Forest in supply? And then I saw, oh, that's how Forest is in supply.
Yeah. So there we go. Even got a little bit left over.
Yeah, because otherwise you would have had to run wagons up.
Right.
Which, just based on how far Forest is from the rest of the Confederate Army, wasn't really going to be possible.
Right. That was the easiest way to do it.
Yes.
And I was like, I have 2 depots, so if it gets taken, it kind of doesn't really matter. They're actually fairly cheap to build.
They are fairly cheap to build. It's not. It's more about the supply in them than, and even the wagon trains come back in a turn, right?
Right. Right. So you need to fat those guys. If you
yes, I do. So one quick thing, though. Hold on a second.
They're in a railroad station.
Oh, no. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Ready to roll?
Yep. Let's roll. That is a Union initiative.
Of course. Like I said, I win initiatives every 8 rolls. Go ahead.
Well, it's streaky, right? I've always seen it be streaky.
Well, the streaks have been favoring you for 5 turns, so.
All right. We're going to activate Crittenden. So this will be a multi-stack activation. But it is elite. Oh, cool. Okay. All right. So first one to go is Wood. They're all activating, so just to clear that up. so we're going to have to go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to there.
Van Cleef, don't forget to give him a fatty.
Well, I haven't moved him yet.
Oh, okay.
Now, what do we got here? Van Cleef is going to do a march attack on Forest.
All right. So first of all, before you even do the march attack, when you get there, we're going to do our cavalry action thing.
Okay, you're cavalry retreating. That's fine. That's expected. So you are going to give everybody a fatigue.
Right.
You are going to disorganize the manpower, and you're going to retreat 5 to 6 hexes, 4 to 6 hexes, and then you're going to roll a d6, and I'm going to lose half that many movement points.
So let's see. How many movement points? Where are you at movement pointy wise?
I have spent nothing as of this exact moment.
Okay.
I have 7 movement points.
So I have done that, and then I get to go 4 to 6 hexes at my discretion. 1, 2, 3, and it just says hexes. 4, 5.
It does just say hexes.
6. So let's see. Can I get an even straighter route? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I can.
The only thing that would you got to avoid the Zoc, right?
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, absolutely. There we go. Other side of the Candy's Creek, closer to the depot.
Okay. Did you flip the units rather than the manpower markers?
No, I just forgot to disorganize them. Hold on. You continue.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. All right. So, and roll a d6 to see how many movement points I lose.
6.
Okay. So that means that here's 1, and then I lose 3 more, so I have 3 left. Right. Okay. That sounds right. All right. So that's fine. We'll go here. And then we actually have to take Crittenden and put him somewhere with these guys as well. Let me make sure that I got them all. But I think I did. I did. Okay, so we're good.
So I think some of those guys had fatties already. Did you give everybody?
None of those guys did.
None of those guys had fatties.
Some of the guys in the army down with the one that did already is Brannon. He was like a fat 4, I think, last turn, so he is at fat 1 right now. None of Crittenden's guys had fatigues to start with.
Got it. Okay, so
we roll.
All right.
Confederate initiative.
My initiative. What to do, what to do. We are going to activate. Forrest is going to do a leader activation. So these guys are going to go to Fat 3. So do I have to do some extended march thing with these guys? They're all disorganized.
You do, because they're exhausted as well.
Okay, so we'll figure that out.
Okay, so remember though, so you've got James Wheeler and DeBrell in there, right? So you can move the whole stack just for the sake of economy, but they're separate activations. So you get the same movement roll, but they activate separately. So you have to make 2
extended marches for each group.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
So let's do the extended march for. What is it, Detrell? Yeah, let's do that. So what's my target?
Okay,
let's talk about that.
So the extended march table is if you are organized, then you only have a negative effect on a 6, and that is, and regardless of how many manpower you have. If you are disorganized, however, which you are, then your negative effect, which is also on a 6, is to lose a manpower. However,
on a 6.
On a 6,
okay.
Yeah. There's no other modifiers for you.
Okay.
It's just that the Union gets a generic. Most Union units get a generic +1 modifier on this.
Got
table.
it. So let's go with Detrell.
Okay.
Well, he lost a manpower.
Lost a manpower.
All right. So decrease.
That does not cost you victory points.
Okay. And then we'll do the other guy. All right. He's fine.
Okay.
And now we're going to do our roll. Oh, that sucks. It's a leader activation, and I'm Confederate, right?
Yeah, so you get a +1 for the leader, +1 for being Confederate.
Okay, so that's a 7. Yeah, we can barely do it, what we want to do. So let me give them their fatties. They're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
All right, let's roll.
All right, that's a good move. That way I can't just walk in there.
All right.
It's Union Initiative. We're going to activate Thomas. Start with Burrell. Who's this guy? Brannon. Start with Brannon. Let's make the roll. That's 6 points. Just going to go right there.
Oh, itinerant hobbyist. He is playing me. I am Patrick Mullen, also known as Navarone Gun.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
And that's pretty much who we play all the time, really.
Yeah, we've been, we're all locked in, so why not?
For the live, but I mean for the live, live stream, that's the live streamy stuff. Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to move this whole stack together. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sound good? It does sound good. And then hold on a second. All right, there we go. All right, so 1, 2. Okay, we're good.
So Rosecrans is gathering 2 core in the vicinity of.
Oh, hold on, there's one more.
Of Georgetown. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget, some of these guys did have fatties already, so I should be seeing some fatty 2 going on here.
The one that's fat 2 is Brannon. Now, here's a question, though. Okay, so this...
yep, there he is. I see him.
This sub-guy that I broke off of somebody else, does he stay with his parent unit? Because I think so. Let's see here.
I will let you look that up, but I believe that is that.
I mean, that would make sense. I would just have to note that he broke off of one of Thomas's units. So we'll activate him too. Well, he would have broke off of Tom. Off of which unit? No, but off of which of Thomas's units doesn't really matter.
Right. Gotcha. I would concur with that statement.
So bear with me here because I'm not quite done yet. Just move the whole stack again. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm going to get rid of these excess breast marks.
That's fine. Oh yeah, I was about to, because a bunch of the guys that I had already done had them, so we were going to get rid of them anyway. So go ahead. Let's roll.
Okay. Union Initiative.
Union Initiative.
So you were saying about it's streaky, Pat.
Well, it's streaky. What can I say?
All right. It's the what makes the difference is the Union getting it for ties. Is what makes it.
So there's 36 possible results, okay, on a post D6 versus D6 roll, okay. So on 2 of the ties, so there's 30 results in that 36 that are not ties, okay. So one or the other side is going to win that non-tied result, okay, and it's 15 to 15. So of the 6 results that are ties, 2 go to the Union. 1 goes to the Confederate, and the other 2 are the insubordination checks. So the Union, of the 36, the Union wins initiative on 17 versus 16 for the Confederates, which is not a big, it's not, statistically not a big difference.
I agree with you. I've just been rolling shit for 5 turns.
Well, yes. That I'm not arguing with. You've had a couple of streaks too, but all right, now I got to just show you what I'm doing here. All right, so we got other stuff we need to do. I believe I'm comfortable. I believe I'm comfortable with where we're at the moment. So let's go and do some different stuff. I am going to activate all right. On the southern map, in hex number 1924, there's some wagon trains. I'm activating the wagon trains.
Okay.
For strategic movement. Which means I got to look up how many hexes they move. Hold on a second. Not on the player aid. And they should be. All right, it's 24 hexes for wagons if I fat for them, and I'm fat foring them. All right, so 2, 4, 6. 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Okay, that's that. Let's roll.
All right.
That is a Confederate initiative.
Is it?
It is.
Okay, I'm shocked. Okay, so let's see here. Now, I can try to forage with my out-of-supply guys, right?
Yes, but that doesn't happen now. That happens... Hold on.
And my guys are out of supply. They're disorganized, right?
1 second. Foraging happens in the recovery phase.
Okay. So that answers question 1. Question 2, are they disorganized now? By being out of supply?
I believe so, but let's double check that. They are not disorganized now. In the recovery phase, you will check their supply status and you will disorganize them if they are still out of supply at this time. However, a unit may draw an emergency supply at the beginning of step 2 of the recovery phase if it is out of supply and it has... I'm going to not read the rule because here's what it says. if you put supply within its supply draw range during the turn, when you check it, then you can declare emergency supply, spend that supply, and remove the out-of-supply marker.
Got it. Okay.
And foraging works the same way, except that it's a roll and costs you fatigue.
All right. So we are going to, let's see, 3 hexes of the leader.
And you have to be at, I think, fatigue 1 or 2 to do foraging as well.
Okay. So we are going to activate Wharton is going to activate himself and Malden.
Where's this?
Way down south.
Oh, so Wharton. Okay, gotcha.
Right. Wharton is going to. And here we go. So let me fatty them up. Place fatigue. Place fatigue. And we roll. That would be a 9. So
yep.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that is that. We roll.
Okay. Ooh.
Does the turn end?
Oh, yeah, maybe. Hold on. I will try to extend the turn.
Okay.
So let me check exactly what that roll is. I need to roll a 2 or less to extend the turn. I have rolled a 2 or less. And it continues with my initiative.
Of course it does. Continue.
All right, we're going to activate McCook, who is going to activate Davis. Only Davis is activating.
Okay.
But it's a leader activation. So yeah, I'm pulling more guys across the ferry. So okay, so we got that. Let's roll. It's a Confederate initiative.
All right, Joe Wheeler is going to activate. It's a leader activate. Everybody in his stack.
Right, that's fine.
And yeah, and they get 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
It's going to cost 1 extra movement point to move into that hex that's already occupied by your troops.
So it'll be 10, 11, basically. Okay.
Okay.
Place my fatties. I tried to avoid it, but I knew eventually it was going to happen. You're just going to call them. I was just going to end up calling them fatties. All right.
Yeah.
So derogatory. So all right. So let us roll.
Confederate initiative.
Confederate initiative. We are going to. How do you do you looked up the strat movement for wagons. How does that work again?
You just say I am strat moving and I'm spending however many fatigue, and you get a set number of movement points. Right.
What's the cost per fatigue?
It depends on what kind of unit. For cavalry, it's 2, 3, or 4. You can't strat move 1.
Right. Got it.
So 24 would Fat 2 would give you 24. Fat 3 would give you 36, and Fat 4 would get you 48. That's the number of fatigue levels you are spending, not the ending fatigue level. By the way.
What about normal cavalry?
That was normal cavalry.
I mean not cavalry.
It's 14, 21, and 28.
So all right. So 21. All right. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, that'll get me there. All right. All right. Here we go.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, 14. That's the interesting question there. I need to look at the terrain. Where are you, terrain chart?
TEC is in the
Yeah.
Pirates.
Yeah, I see it.
So just before we started, I got a caraway seed from the sandwich I ate. It's stuck in my gum, and I can't get it out.
I hate that.
It's pretty irritating.
Let's see, roads and rails. Road, pike. Non-mountain one.
Yeah,
so that is.
So they're all one basically, unless it's like entering a mountain hex.
Right. 16, 17, 18, 19. That's within 5. Yeah. All right. So that's where I want them. All right. That's it. Let's roll.
Okay. Oh, so wait a minute now. So wagons have their own cost. So if you fit 4, you got 24 movement points.
Right.
But you spent 18?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're good then. Okay. All right, so let's roll.
Right. Oh.
Confederate initiative.
It is a little streaky now. All right, feeling better. Let's see here. Where did you go again? You went up the Cleveland Railroad. Okay. We are going to... Martin is going to do a leader activation of everybody underneath him. And here we go. Oh, that's such a shitty activation. All right, so that's 5. I gotta straighten this stupid stack out. Of course. Because I grabbed all the flipping counters wrong. So these yo-yos can only move 5.
Yes.
So we're going to do this. One, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Did you give them extra fatigue?
They already had 1.
I thought they already had 2, actually, but maybe you had already added them at that point.
No, they only had 1. I just added them to 2. They had done a strat move last turn. So
okay,
they recovered down to 1, but they're
right.
2.
They're all exhausted too, bear in mind.
Are they?
Yeah.
From a strat move?
Not from the strat move, but because they were at fatigue 4.
It didn't flip them to their disorganized or exhausted side.
They're not disorganized. They are flipped to their exhausted side. You see the white stripe under the leader names? That's just one reason why I don't like these particular counters.
Got it. I got you.
Because I think it's... I just find it visually ambiguous. Let me put it that way.
Right. So they're gonna go. We're gonna go like that. But from what you just informed me, tells me that we're gonna have to basically do a.
And you have to extended march them too.
Right. So I might not even do this then. Might just wait until next turn. There's no reason for me to move them, so I'm not going to do any of that. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we'll clean it up then, and you can do something different. That's fine.
Yeah. I like that, though. It means after you strat move, it does behoove you to just completely chill out the next turn.
Yeah, you could strat too, but that's less useful, right? For obvious reasons, especially when you're trying to basically move. I mean, the reason you strat moved was to move them from the edge of the map where they had just come in from, and get them to somewhere where they are useful, right? And even just sitting in Chattanooga, they are useful, right? You don't want to leave that. You don't want to leave that empty.
Right. Absolutely. All right. So we're going to activate. TH Hill is going to activate himself and everybody with him, which is just one unit. So,
okay.
Place fat and roll. Ooh, that's a crappy roll. So that's 3. 1, 2, 3. Gonna go down to King.
Okay.
All right, let's roll.
Okay. It's a Confederate initiative.
All right, we are going to activate Bushrod Johnson.
Bushrod.
I love that.
I think he had a brother with an even more ludicrous name. It wasn't Wangrod though.
Whenever they're like that, it's basically because the first name is the last name. It's a family name.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like every time you're like, what? You're like, oh, all right. So he's like, his mother's maiden name is his name. All right. So we got 6 out of that deal.
One of the many, 7 actually.
Right. Oh, that's right. And he got. What did Hill get? Yeah, right. It's
was that 7. A leader activation?
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ah, okay.
5. 6, 7. Yep, that's it. All right, let's roll.
Confederate initiative.
It's Confederate times. All right, we're going to activate Stuart. And Stuart gets 6. Kind of perfecty. All right, so that's that. Let's roll. Union initiative.
That is a Union initiative. All right, so we're going to activate the leader in Force 10. I'm not going to make a roll for movement, though, because it's just the 1 hex across the ferry. So that's the only thing that's happening here.
Gotcha.
All right, this is control open bracket. Okay, that's that. Let's roll. That's a Confederate initiative.
We are going to... DHL is going to do another activation. Of... Who's with him? Claiborne. Here we go. It's more crap. It's another 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's roll.
Confederate initiative.
Alrighty. I feel good about where they are now because everyone's within 3 hexes of hill. Okay. So we are going to... Bragg is going to activate the remainder of the army of Tennessee.
Bragg does not do unit activations except for a grand assault. So you're going to activate Polk or whoever else is there.
Or Walker.
Or Walker.
So it's going to be Polk. And here we go. Polk, 5 movement points. Decent. All right, so we'll start with Cheatham. Two. Three, 4, 5. And we shall now proceed to pull you yo-yos off. Breckenridge. And let me get a better look at the terrain, actually. Yep, that's the way. One, two. Nope, they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to take Polk with us for grins. And then we got Heinemann. And the Corps Artillery. Reserve Art. Fat. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And take Bragg. And that is that. Let us roll.
That is a Union initiative. We're going to activate Watkins. This is not a leader activation, but he gets a 10, so I'll take that. And he's going to run 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And what's in there? I could have done that instead. That's okay. Let's roll.
Where was that?
He was all the way on the southern edge of the map. He had just come in as part of the turn 5 reinforcements.
Oh, so you're just running up to... Yeah, gotcha. Okay. I had to turn on center opponent's moves. It was like off. Okay. So, all right, let's go with... you rolled a 3. I got it.
Yeah.
All right,
Confederate
Walker.
Initiative.
Walker's going to activate. Bye-bye Breastworks. Liddell and Gist. So, start with Gist. One, 2, 3, 4. Oh, gotta roll. Well, all right, good enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that feels good.
Okay.
And Now we roll. Union initiative.
Union initiative. Let's see what's happening here. We're going to activate Force 9.
Way down south.
Woo! Okay, that's just terrible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's as far as it moves. He can move through that occupied hex because it is 3 manpower or less, by the way. Which is why it doesn't so much matter if you move cavalry stacks at the same time, because they're almost always 1s and 2s.
Got it. All right, let's roll.
It's a Union initiative, and let me remember to fatigue the unit I just moved, so go ahead.
Okay. We are going to activate Force 8.
Okay, gotcha.
It is not a leader activation, so that is 7, 2, 3. Let's roll. Ooh.
Does the turn end? I would like to continue the turn, so I need to roll a 2 or less, and I do. So we continue with my initiative. I'm going to activate the 39th Indiana for 5 movement points. That's pretty terrible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go there. Let's roll. That's
your
a initiative. We're going to again activate the 39th Indiana for 10 movement points. That's substantially better. Okay, we're going to go 1, 2. Please reveal Force 6.
'Tis a dummy.
Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Let's roll.
Let's roll.
That is an insubordination. Let's check for Polk again.
Okay. He's insubordinate, but it kind of doesn't matter anymore.
Well, you don't know. It could.
I feel good about it. Let's put it that way.
It's unlikely to be impactful this turn. Let me put it that way.
Let's roll.
That's a Union initiative. I need to check something.
What are you checking?
Pontoon bridges.
Oh, all right.
All right. Eligible infantry units can attempt to build pontoon bridges across the Tennessee River. Tennessee is really the only river this applies to. It has to be at Fat 0, which is not the case. So I guess we don't need to know that right now. So what am I doing then? I'm going to activate Force 9.
Move up to the river.
For 6 movement points. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. Let's roll. That is a Union initiative. We're going to activate, who's this guy again? Watkins. Kick him up. For 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 9. Hold on a second here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, that's closer. All right, hold on here. Vassal's hiccuping on me. All right, let's roll. That is a Confederate initiative.
All right, what are we going to do here? Kill is going to activate Bushrod Johnson and Stewart. For a crappy 3 movement points. So here we go. We're going to go 1. Please reveal yourself, Force 5.
Sure. Hold on a second. I am going to cavalry retreat, by the way.
Yes.
But okay. I do get revealed. All right, so here's my roll. You'll lose 1 movement point.
Right.
This guy will increase to 2. Manpower will flip. And we'll retreat some hexes. Right there.
Okay. And
so sans 1 movement point, you can continue moving.
That is it.
Okay.
And now this gentleman shall go 1, 2, and yeah, that's it. Movement. He can't. Extra movement point prevents him from getting into the next hex. So let's roll. Your initiative.
That is a Union initiative, so I'm going to activate the wagon train south of Stevenson. This is a strat move. And I'll end up there.
All right, let's roll.
Roll. That is a Confederate initiative.
It is indeed. I think, sir, we shall pass.
Okay, so that passes to me. I'm going to activate Mitchell. This is a leader activation for 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Sounds good. We'll go right here, actually. Let's roll.
I am going to pass.
Ah! Okay. I just found something.
What?
A unit I can potentially build a pontoon bridge for with. All right. This occurs during the recovery phase, so I guess I don't worry about it, which makes sense, actually.
So you've got an initiative.
Yep. Thinking about it. We're going to activate Minty.
Okay.
For a gigantic 4. And he will go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's roll.
Over to you.
That is a Union initiative. We're going to We're going to activate, who is this? Watkins again. He'll land there.
Let's roll. Union initiative.
I'm going to pass.
I shall pass as well.
All right, which will end the action phase. So, we now go to the recovery phase. So I need to actually pull up the actual sequence of this because it actually is going to somewhat matter this turn. So, normally we can just push the button and that's it. Okay, good. All right. Oh, all right. So the first thing that happens, units at fatigue level 0 may entrench, build bridges, or repair bridges and ferries. So this is what's going to maybe happen down here. This is in South Map, Hex 2625. Sheridan, who is the only, he's not that Sheridan, and he's at fatigue 0, which is why we can do this.
Right, so, I got you.
So he's going to have to...
If it doesn't happen automatically, you'll throw down a pontoon. Got it.
Well, I have to make a roll for it. And if I don't make the roll, then nothing happens except that I put down a marker that gives me a -1 to the roll. And I think I need a 1. Let me just verify that this is how it works. Yeah, I roll 2... Actually, I roll 2 dice. And if it's a 2 or less, the bridge is successfully built. So that wasn't it, but I get...
Got it, a -1.
It's one of these markers. Hold on a second. All right, well, it's -1. All right, so that's that. You are not probably going to do this. Units at fatigue level 0, 1, or 2 may forage. Do you have anybody who is going to be out of supply?
Yes, but they're in range of emergency supply.
Okay, so you don't need to forage, so we can ignore that. All right, so we can just hit the button then.
Hold on, let me actually delete the out of supply marker.
And then spend the supply off the wagon.
Yes, yeah.
And remember, it's 1 supply will feed 1 division or 3 brigades or regiments.
1 division or 3 brigades or regiments, and I believe I have...
Those are probably all regiments, I would think, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to... Yeah,
they're brigades. Or regiments, actually.
But I think they're all part of a division, actually. Yep, they're part of Wheeler's division. Do you follow me?
I think you have to spend up by the unit, though. I don't think it matters. I think it's 1 supply point either way.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah, it's 1 supply point. So the math actually works out.
Okay, cool. Done.
All right, that's easy. All right, so now we hit to recover under Sunshine. And then we may want to eyeball everything to make sure that it looks okay.
Yep. I'm with you.
No. All right, so Brannon was at fatigue 2, and this did not remove his fatigue marker. And I think it's because... And it added a breastworks. I know he moved. That's weird. I mean, I like the feature. You just got to kind of babysit it a little bit.
Yeah.
So he should be at no fatigue and no breastworks. All right. Everybody else should basically be okay.
So should Forrest still be disorganized and exhausted this turn?
Forrest, what fatigue was he at? 3?
Yes.
Then yes, he should be.
Okay. What about I know for a fact, let me see. Let me flip this. The guys in Chattanooga should not be exhausted this turn. They didn't move.
They were at fatigue 1.
Right.
They didn't move, but I don't know that the fatigue... Hold on a second. So units at fatigue level 0 may entrench, blah, blah, blah. Units at fatigue level 0, 1, or 2 may forage. All right. Units at fatigue level 0 or 1 are affected as follows. If they are disorganized, then they become organized, which is the case.
Yep.
Units at fatigue level 0 or 1, which are on their exhausted sides, are slipped to their normal sides.
Yep.
And they are.
Normal now, and I just flipped them, but they weren't. So
okay.
That was, yeah. That's hence my question.
All right. And units at 0 or 1. So for like full recovery, you want to have them be at 0 or 1, basically.
Right. That's why I didn't move them. They were exhausted,
yeah.
right? But yeah, the recover didn't fix it.
Yeah. 2 is like your safe zone, right? You can get troops to Fat 2 and not suffer adverse results. But if you get them to Fat 3 or 4, then they become exhausted, and then it takes them a day or 2 to recover, depending on whether it was 3. 3 will take them a day to recover. 4 will take them... And remember that the fatigue comes off last. So it's whatever they ended the action phase at that determines what they're able to recover.
All right. Let's... how about we take 5 or 10? Come back.
I'll tell you what. Let's 1 second. Let's yes, we can absolutely take a break. Recovery phase, strategic cycle, and turn indicator. So I will just move up the turn to turn. This will be turn 6 for September 4th, and let's take 5 minutes.
That sounds good to me. I'll be back.
All right. So we're about to start turn 5 here, and there was definitely a strategic pause in which Rosecrans felt obliged to pull back and create a greater force concentration. I need to check these to make sure that these are okay. All right, this, I have no idea what has happened here, because this should definitely not be 10 supply points. I mean, that would be cool, but the fatigue numbers are correct. You know, thinking about it, I'm not sure I've played Great Campaigns of the American Civil War on Vassal other than Battle Above the Clouds, thinking about it. I don't know if the quirkiness that kind of happens with the recovery features in this module actually applies to other modules or not. I can tell you that every game in the series does have a Vassal module. I can also say that if you intend to play the older games in the series, older meaning before Grant Takes Command, so basically the Avalon Hill games, with the current series rules, then there is a sheet of replacement markers that you need. I don't know. I believe that sheet of replacement markers is available online somewhere, and they're just leaders. Some of the numbers are slightly different. That's all. And there's also a manifest telling you which of those new replacement counters go with which games. I got a copy of that replacement counter sheet at Winter Offensive. So I have one, but then I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, I don't know what replaces what here. So now, obviously, however, if you want to do Stonewall Jackson's Way or Here Come the Rebels or Roads to Gettysburg, then there's new editions of those games, and you should really probably get those instead. They are questionable counter art design aside. They are very strong new editions of those games. They're not really different games. They're the same games. They're just tightened up. Some of the scenarios have been rebalanced. Some of the small tweaks have been made, and they've been made to conform to the series rules. To the extent that that's true. As a series, the series is actually fairly loose. There's a lot of differences that don't necessarily jump out at you when you're reading them, but there's a lot of very significant differences in each game to reflect those particular campaigns. So in the Western Theater ones, for example, the way the initiative works, right? The initiative for the first several games in the series, I believe this is true until Grant Takes Command, is the Confederate wins ties, right? All 6 tie results, regardless of what it is, the Confederate wins ties. I'm pretty sure that's true. Might not actually be true in All Green Alike, but in Grant Takes Command, that's different. It works differently than it does in here, and in here, I believe it works a little differently than it does in Atlanta Is Ours. So those small changes really make a significant impact on the way the campaign plays out, for example. I mean, you could definitely tell that here. Even between the scenarios where it's just the Union wins ties on 1, 2, and 3 in the campaign, where you have to the insubordination results, and the turn might end if you roll tied ones, for example, which we had. If you'll recall, if you watched the first episode, you'll know that the first turn of the campaign ended very quickly before I could get all of the Union troops across the ferries, or at least even most of the Union troops across the ferries. So, and I am in fact here on we're now on day 6, and I am still trying to get Union troops across these ferries. So we will see what happens. We've got we're going to have some. Yeah, Watkins is exhausted. So we'll see what happens. I love this series. It is one of my favorite game systems, wargaming game systems, and it might be my favorite. We were making fun of a friend of ours last week about how he's got 17 copies of Case Blue. It's not actually 17, of course, but it is 3, which is ridiculous. And I mentioned that there will be a time at some point, probably this year, or maybe early next year now, where I actually will have 3 copies of one game. And that game will be Stonewall Jackson's Way 2, actually. I've ordered the reprint and an extra copy. So, because why not? The other good news is that I've managed to sell some of the local guys on Great Campaigns, the American Civil War. So as soon as we're able to get completely out of the pandemic, we'll have some people over and start playing that. It's a fairly interesting situation going on here where we have this kind of opposed battle lines of Union and Confederate armies about 10 or 12 miles apart.
Right.
So, I've just been talking about I've been back a couple minutes. I've just been talking about the series as a whole. So.
Yeah.
All right, so we are in turn 6.
Which is September 3rd, correct?
September 4th.
August 29th is not turn 1?
August 29th is turn 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. September 4th.
29th, 30th, 31st.
Mm-hmm.
That's 3. First is turn 4.
Uh-huh.
Second is turn 5, and the third would be turn 6.
Yes.
Okay. So we're not going into September 4th. We're going into September 3rd.
That's right. That is
Okay,
actually right.
I'm just double checking.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. This is turn 6.
Okay.
All right. So
all
the
right.
first thing we do is roll for random events. You want to roll for it this time?
I got it. What is it? 2d6?
It's 2d6.
8.
8. Accelerate Confederate reinforcements. So last turn, you may recall that we had a delayed Confederate reinforcements, and now we have an accelerate, which I want to say just means move everybody up a turn. But let me check that that is in fact the case. So Bragg is getting conflicting reports about when reinforcements will be arriving.
This is correct.
Yeah, you just move everybody up one turn. That's all.
Done. All right.
All right. So next is the reinforcement phase. I have no reinforcements this turn.
I have none.
Okay. Off-map transfer. Do you have anybody doing off-map transferring?
I do not. Do
Okay.
you?
No.
No.
Leader transfer. I don't have any leader transfer.
I think I'm going to just nudge Bragg a little bit. Okay. Get him with Polk. Okay.
Okay. And then county control. I don't believe any counties have changed hands this turn. Absolutely not. Let me pull up the display just to make sure everything reads correctly. We were the last group through Meigs County, so we actually do flag Meigs County to Union control again. Doesn't really mean anything because there's no railroads going through Meigs County. And then the attachment phase, so you can attach and reattach if you wish.
I think I'm good.
I am not in the right position to do that, so I'm going to just leave it.
Okay.
And then we're in the action cycle.
Time to roll.
So let's start rolling.
Union Initiative.
Union Initiative. Let's see what we're doing here. I'm pretty satisfied with that down there. So let's activate Force 10. That goes away. Let's roll. And yes, I fatigued them. That is a Confederate initiative.
Alrighty then. We are going to do something. D.H. Hill is going to activate every damn body under his command. And here we go. 4 movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So, John Longshore, that did happen in places, but it was also true that there were Union partisans behind Confederate lines. There were areas of the Confederacy, in particular East Tennessee, and also some parts of the Deep South, and Alabama or Mississippi, some those types of places, that were staunchly pro-Union. So that did kind of swing both ways.
It was really East Tennessee and Alabama. The Mississippi thing is almost not even.
Alabama's the one I'm thinking of. Then did I say Alabama? I might have said Mississippi.
Yeah, it's like northeastern Alabama and East Tennessee, western North Carolina too. There was in fact in 1864 the equivalent of. So remember Hardee left this army. You know he wanted to leave. You know. So Hardee ended up in, there was almost a bit of a counterinsurgency going on in western North Carolina. Nothing, you know, nothing Missouri-like, shall we say? You know, but just that we've got some troops and we got to move them around and stuff like in 1864. All right. Yeah. So that's it. So
that is not really a factor in this series. Should tell you something about the invulnerable and unstoppable partisans in War Between the States.
Right.
So, which is a higher level game than this.
So let's roll.
All right. That is a Union initiative.
Correct.
We are going to activate Davis.
Trying to get across that damn river.
I am now across that damn river, actually.
All right. Let us roll.
That's a Confederate initiative.
It is indeed. So we are going to activate... So I forget again, if you get up to fatigue 2, but you have nothing else going on, you'll end up like with no fatigue.
You'll end up completely square at the end of the recovery phase. That's correct. Assuming you are not already disorganized or exhausted, that is correct.
Okay, so I think we're going to activate Hill again. Here we go. For 6. Everybody under Hill's command. All right. So 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let us roll.
That is Union Initiative. I'm going to activate Minty.
Minty Fresh.
Minty is, this is not a leader activation. And we have a 9. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Let's roll.
Okay, we are going to. All right.
It's Confederate initiative.
We are going to activate Polk. Everybody under Polk. Polk times. Let's see what we roll. 7. We shall start with Cheatham. 1, 2. 4. What you gonna do, Crook?
Oh, Crook will cavalry retreat. You will lose 3 movement points.
Let's see, I had 7, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4. All right.
And we'll retreat. I don't have to do it that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can't cross rivers, by the way, with that retreat.
Okay.
With just counting hexes, unless you're crossing it at a bridge.
Okay, and now, come here, Polk. Come here, Bragg. Breckenridge. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it will cost him an extra movement point to join his compadre.
Ooh, maybe not. Hold on.
Maybe 2?
Yeah, it might be 3 or 4, actually. You're in. It is a mountain hex. How many manpower do you have?
In the hex already, I have 12.
You need to spend an extra 4 movement points.
All right, so he's going to stay there. Well, hold on. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can do it. No, he can't. He needs 1 more movement point to pull that off.
Yeah, it's going to cost 5 movement points to enter that hex.
All right.
So
let's see here. These guys are going to go. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just Polk and Bragg there. And that's that.
Let's roll. That is a Union initiative. Okay, we're going to activate Minty again for 8. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Let's roll.
Union initiative. I am going to activate... Now, I can do this, okay? I'm going to activate Mitchell, all right? And I can activate a wagon train along with Mitchell.
Sounds good to me, man.
I'm going to activate Mitchell, but they're going to have to roll separately. So Mitchell will roll... I'll do the wagon train first, actually. Wagon train's going to strat 3, so that will put him at... Oh, incidentally, keep an eye on the number of supply points in wagons, because the recovery gave me 6 extra fatigue, 6 extra supply points somehow. I don't know how.
All right.
So
I'll take a look.
Just be aware of that and keep an eye on it. All right, we got to hide this. Let's see. We cannot cross that. I am going to ask your forbearance. And move this guy here instead, because that's a ford. I can't cross a ford with wagon trains. All right, so Strat 3 is 18. No, it's 15. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 5. All right, and then Mitchell will roll for 7. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 15 Okay. All right, let's roll. That is a Confederate initiative.
All right, we're going to... Walker's going to do an activation of all his peeps.
Okay.
And it's a crappy roll. It's 3 total. So... One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Let's roll.
That is a Union initiative. I am going to activate Watkins. Boom. Let's roll. That is a tie of 2. That is a Union initiative. We're going to activate 39th Indiana for 5. Let's roll. That is a Union initiative.
What? I did not hear you.
Sorry, that's a 5 to 3. That's a Union initiative.
Yep.
All right, we're going to activate Watkins again. Actually, we're not going to activate Watkins. We're going to activate Force 9. For 9. They'll end up right there.
Okay, let's roll.
They are fatigued. Let's roll. That is a Confederate initiative.
Let me see. How do I want to go about doing this? We are going to... Polk is going to activate all his peeps. For 3. Wonderful. Start with Cheatham. Oh, stupid. Okay, let's roll.
It's a Confederate initiative.
Walker's going to activate all his peeps for 5. Sure. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's roll.
Let's see if the turn ends. I will try to extend the turn. I fail. Would you like to extend the turn?
No, I would not.
Okay, then the turn ends. So, in that case, the most timing-dependent things that I had did get completed, so I can live with that. We're in the recovery phase. You no longer have anyone who is out of supply. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
Okay. So we don't have to worry about any of that. So we can just hit the button then. And then we can eyeball it to see if everything makes sense.
The button's been hit? Okay. Let me check. The only one I'm worried about is. Yeah, it looks like forest is back to normal.
Rosecrans's army didn't even move. So
no, he pulled the Rosecrans.
Yeah. Well, I would have done some stuff with him if there had been an opportunity, but they wouldn't have just sat there. But that's fine.
Right. We are now on what, turn 7, right?
So yeah, this will be turn, no strategic cycle. So turn indicator moves up to turn. Where is it? Moves up to turn 7.
Right.
Once we will do the random events phase. I'll roll for it this time. That is an 8. Accelerate Confederate reinforcements. So move your whatever reinforcements you have up 1.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Next is reinforcements. Do you have any reinforcements coming in?
Indeed, I do.
Okay.
So, let's see. Tell me where the Mississippi reinforcements go.
Let me check that. I want to say they come in. All right, they're entering from Atlanta. So what that means is that when they come in, you place them on the map or in the Altoona, Resaca, or Rome off-map boxes. If you put them on the map, you may place them in any RR station on the Western and Atlantic Railroad.
Okay.
That you could trace to, right?
Okay.
From that southern rail line, which is everywhere, basically.
Let me do that. First of all, let me force them up. Okay.
They can't be in a Union ZOC. They can't be in a damaged or destroyed railroad station.
What was the railroad? What was the railroad again?
Western and Atlantic.
Western and Atlantic.
Which is the one that runs sort of east-west to Chattanooga.
I see it. Let me find the most propitious one for me. I think it might be Chattanooga might be the place. Or perhaps Ringgold. Yes. All right. So that's that. That was reinforcement group number 1. Reinforcement group number 2. I'm fully aware of where they arrive.
Okay.
And I will place them and show you. It's a dun 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 moment. If you pull up your Knoxville display.
Okay.
Oh, did I just screw it up? Yes, I did. Hold on. Ha ha. Ah ha ha. Hold on a second with that. I put the wrong guys in the wrong place. Got like 8 windows open right now. Law shows up in Saltville.
Okay.
Okay. That is it for Confederate reinforcements.
All right. Off-map transfer.
I have none right now.
Okay. Leader transfer.
I like Bragg where he is.
County control, nothing's changed. Attachment. You can detach or reattach.
Nope, I am good.
All right, and then we're in the action cycle.
All right.
So let's roll and see what happens. That is a Confederate initiative.
I would like to entrain the guys who just showed up.
Okay.
For 7. So let's do that for the first time.
Okay, so let's walk through that since we haven't done that already. So railroad movement. You may embark if it occupies a railroad station, which it does. It has to be infantry. You can't do this with cav or artillery. It has to have fatigue 0 or 1, but it can be exhausted. It can't be in a ZOC. Can't be in an enemy-controlled county, which is not the case. Maximum of 1 Confederate unit may embark each turn. It also can't be mounted infantry. They actually deliberately said that.
Yeah.
I didn't think they needed to because, other than for leader activation purposes, mounted infantry functions as cavalry.
Right.
And you have to be able to trace a railroad path to Brownlow Church, which I'm not even going to look. I'm sure you can. Confederate unit may not embark during the turn that the Confederate player places a reinforcement on the map from Atlanta. So you actually used your rail cap already this turn.
Okay.
And
so let me see if I can do
exact same things apply to Union, by the way.
Right. So let me see here for a second if I do something different then. So no, so what we're going to do is activate Force 7.
Okay. Those are the guys that just came in?
Yep. 1, 2, 1. Knowing that I would not be able to rail them, I believe I would like to have them at Chickamauga Station instead. I don't think it matters a whole lot.
As long as there's a station there, yeah, that's fine.
Yep. So they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me fatty them. And let us roll again.
That is a Union initiative. And it's funny that you should have done that this turn, actually, because we are going to now see something else that we haven't seen in the past. I'm going to activate Minty.
Okay.
Who is going to fatigue, and he is going to perform a new type of action called Burn Railroad Station.
Okay.
However, he has only 2 or 3 manpower, so he can only damage and not destroy the railroad station. So I need to find the marker for damaged railroad station. All right. Let's roll. That is a Union initiative.
How do those get fixed, by the way?
There is a process. So in this, like the basic game rules, they can't be fixed, but in the campaign they can. That I'll have to look up. But you can fix them. That happens during the recovery phase. You must control the count. I don't think you need units there, actually. But you have to control the county, and that you can't have an enemy unit in that hex. You just declare it, and you can remove 3 damaged or 1 destroyed.
Oh, okay.
Let me check one thing, just to make sure that the breakpoint for destroying the railroad station is what I think it is. Yeah. You have to have 5 manpower there to destroy it.
Okay.
All right. Did we roll for the next initiative?
Yeah, you just destroyed that thing, and we talked about it. Yep.
Oh, okay. So we didn't roll after that then. All right.
Nope.
All right. So, no, I think we did, actually, because that was the 3 to 2.
Are you sure? That
was my first act. That was my first action. So I got another one. All right. So we're going to activate. We're going to activate.
No, I actually believe you're wrong. As I look at the hold on. Nope, you're right. Okay, go ahead. I looked at the log.
We're going to activate Thomas.
Okay.
For 7. Okay. We'll have a pile of disused breastworks here at the end. Wilder's going to go. No, the sub guy will go first, actually. Now we go with Wilder for 7. Let's get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I gotta check the chart for this. All right, we're gonna have to pay extra movement points, but there's nothing really to be done about it. This is looking real stupid and risky, but it's done. So let me get rid of... Did you get rid of the extra breastworks?
Yes, I did.
Okay, great. All right, so that's it. Let's roll. That's a Union initiative. We're going to activate Thomas again. But not everyone is in range. I'm actually not going to activate Thomas. We're going to activate this breakaway unit first, actually. Let's see, it's going to go... Well, let's maybe roll for him to see what he's moving. 4. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's roll. That's a Union initiative. I'm going to activate Wilder. He's going to go a giant 2. He's going to go 1, 2. Now, he can move through that hex because it's 3 manpower.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's not like mountain or swamp or woods or something like that. All right, let's roll. That's a Confederate initiative.
All right, we are going to activate Polk. Everybody under Polk.
Okay.
Let's see what we get. We get 4. It's kind of crappy. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's roll.
That's a Confederate initiative.
It is indeed. We are going to activate Forest. Everybody under Forest. Here we go. That is an 8. Let me get rid of some breastworks.
So, Adam McDonald, first of all, welcome to the stream. James McPherson, if you're talking about the McPherson that wrote Battle Cry of Freedom, that's the only thing from him that I've read, and that's very good. It's not the best, like, military history of the Civil War, but it might be the best all-around contextualizing single-volume history that I'm aware of.
All right, so these guys can go 7. Do I need to do them separate? Probably. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You want to do anything, Crook?
No.
One, 2, 3,
I don't get a cavalry
5.
retreat on that anyway.
Yep, 6.
Because your cavalry is
That's what we're doing. Yep. Forrest and Armstrong are kind of hemming in Crook there.
Okay.
Looking to do him ill. All right, let's roll. Confederate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, bear in mind, you can't attack with both of those.
I didn't say I was going to.
I'm just saying.
All right. So let's see here. We're going to activate D.H. Hill. Everybody under his command. 4, 5. Okay, that's reasonable. 2, 3, 4. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 to there. And then 1, 2.
So John
3.
Longshore on the Foot series, I've read the first of the 3. It's well written. It's a very readable and entertaining.
All right, let's roll.
Military narrative of the Civil War. Let's roll this off, and I'll get back to that.
All right. Another
Confederate initiative. Foot's trying to be fair, right? But Foot falls prey to lost causism. where
I
Foot...
vehemently disagree with Gary on this point, and I will hit this up when you get done.
Okay.
But continue.
It's your initiative, though.
Yes, I'm doing it.
Okay.
All right. So, the accusations, in my opinion, of lost causism are merely because he's just covering the military history. Everyone wants him to be a social historian and talk about other things. He's not.
Well, and Foot's not a historian at all. Okay, so let's be clear on that.
Right.
Foot was a novelist.
Right.
And I'm not going to go so far as to call the Foot series a novel. And I'm also not saying that the Foot series is not worth reading. It's very good. Gives you a lot of good military detail. So if that's what you're interested in, then it's a good place to go, right? But Pat's right. That accusation is because Foot doesn't deal with the social causes of the American Civil War.
And he's a novelist, and you can certainly take away from the fact that he does source, but he sources at the end of the book. He doesn't do sourcing page by page with footnotes, etc. The umbrage I take with those who call him a lost causer, as a former military history major, right, who then went in grad school and went the international studies ways, is there are historians who are basically saying, hey, because you're trying to do military history and you're not covering social history, you are therefore a lost causer. And that's, to me, bullshit. Okay?
Well,
you should be able. No, if a historian decides I just want to cover the military history, I don't want to deal with political history, or to a large extent, or I don't want to deal with social history or other things, economic. I'm trying to stick to this one bailiwick. He doesn't come out and espouse the lost cause. He does not come out and defend.
That is
Confederate
all completely
history.
Accurate.
Okay, so it's kind of my problems with the academy these days, which is saying, well, if you don't do these things, it's kind of like saying if you don't stand up and fight for something, man, then you're part of the problem in an academic way. And that's something I take a severe issue with. And
that's true.
It's only a real minority segment of the Civil War historical community that considers him uses that term, a lost causer. What I will say is he's not fully covering. He's decided that he doesn't want to cover social history and get into other things. But he does, in terms of classic law. When we say lost cause, 1930s lost cause type of history of the Civil War, he does say slavery was the prime cause of the war. All those things.
Yeah.
So that's my problem. Is a community of historians trying to hold him, you know what I mean, to some saying, well, what they're basically saying is if you don't do social history, then you're not doing history. Or you're
I'm not going to agree with that.
Political cause. Okay?
I'll also agree with we shouldn't call Foot a lost causer, because I don't believe that that's what he was trying to do. The work itself, however, I think does feed the lost cause myth, in that it is possible to read them and kind of say, yeah, slavery was the main cause of the Civil War, and he talks about, he mentions that, but to think that the main point was this honorable struggle between Southerners fighting for freedom and Northerners fighting to preserve the Union, which is kind of Foot's perspective.
Well, anyway, he doesn't even offer that as a main point. My point about that, and this gets into a military history type of argument, right, is like, so if someone decides to write about military history and someone whose ideology that same military historian may find reprehensible decides to latch on to the military history to, out of context of other things, other histories, you follow what I'm saying, to justify a point of view, that is not the fault of the historian. That's the fault of the person espousing the cause. For instance,
that's the fault of the reader. Right. The reader needs to understand the perspective from which the work is being written. Right.
Same thing goes to game design, right? If I design a game and someone decides to try to defend their reprehensible or historically faulty ideas, with that game, that is their fault. And I should not feel constrained in how I design to do some least common denominator thing. You know what I mean? That says, hey, I've got to cover this in some broad way that doesn't deeply get into the military history aspect of things, because someone might misinterpret it. You follow? You know what I mean?
I don't believe that that's desirable.
Right, but those are the criticisms he falls under, and that's why I feel so strongly about it. I do think that he's not someone I would go to for a deep military historical understanding.
No, but it's it really is a great work, right? I mean, it's a great book sequence to read. It'll give you a lot of really good military history. Just understand when you're reading it that there's a lot of context that Foote is not covering. That is all I'm saying.
Right, and he's also going very broad. For instance, like what I just talked about, like counterinsurgency like stuff in Western North Carolina, he's not covering that.
Right. No, he's covering battles and leaders and stuff like that.
Right. It's a huge war. I mean, and he does a good job of hitting things like the Red River Campaign, for instance. Like the way he wrote it, and so I give him kudos but that's why it's 3 volumes, right? That's why it's so huge.
And he's a fantastic writer, just as a writer. He was a very good writer.
Right. And that's why he's dead now, but for years he defended himself against, well, why aren't you citing page by page? And he's like, because I wanted there to be a literary flow to how I'm writing.
Yeah, because I won't go so far as to call it a historical novel, but it's a novelist writing about history, right? And you just have to understand that when reading Foote, that's where he's coming from. And he was also a very charming individual, right? I mean, you saw him in the Ken Burns. That's why they gave him so much screen time, because he was damn good on camera.
But sorry, and that wasn't if that was my academician dander getting up there. But I've just heard that spurious accusation made about his work and him, right, about the lost cause before, and that's why I'm like, we have to be very careful. What do we mean? I would not. That's why I take umbrage at those words being used to describe his work.
I believe it is a fair statement to make, but what I don't think is right is to necessarily blame Foote for that.
No, well, then you don't blame the work. You don't say it's a lost cause narrative. You say lost causers frequently use it to try to defend their views.
That's fair.
Okay, right? That's what I'm saying, being specific. Because otherwise, if it's a lost cause work, then he's a lost causer, which he's explicitly not in the book.
No, and I think I feel he was trying to be balanced. There was just a lot that he didn't want to cover.
Right.
And I'm going to stick up for the right of the creator to create, to be able to choose his own subject matter and scope and all that, right? If he wants to write about the military history, then let him. And he doesn't ignore the social context. It's just that that's not the work that you want to read.
He doesn't go deeply into it, but he doesn't do anything that would reinforce the lost cause narrative with that.
McPherson does.
Right. At times, yeah. So, but McPherson, when did he write him?
Decades later.
Right.
So that's a factor. Anyway, where are we here exactly?
I'm done moving Walker, basically. Okay. So, we're rolling for initiative. Yep. What was it you were saying about McPherson, which is a good question, by the way?
McPherson loads a huge amount of context at the beginning of Battle Cry of Freedom, to the extent that it's actually hard to get through that section of the book.
But another excellent historian like Bruce Catton does not.
That's true.
Right? But that's because it's just military history.
At least not in the Catton that I've read, anyway. Right. He had a huge library. There's literally a Bruce Catton library of Civil War books. Right,
and that's kind of my. Oh, let me roll. That's kind of my. Your turn. Right. That's kind of my problem with. So it's why a lot of military historians frequently get into these battles. And it's not just about the American Civil War, where that's the battle. But it's like they're like, well, why by writing? Essentially, there's an essentialist argument on the part of ideological social historians, and I don't mean in terms of political ideology. I mean they're like proponents of social history is the most important. Everybody can become an ideologue. In what part of the academy? there's this insidious argument that existed in the 90s in history departments, right? Where it's like, hey, if you're writing about military history, then you're if you're doing the American Civil War, for instance, you're a lost cause, or if you're writing about World War II, then you're then you're somehow like a Nazi sympathizer or something. You follow what I'm saying? It's this idea of
that's obvious nonsense,
right? But it's part of the it's the argument of somehow like military history left by its lonesome is somehow bad, and that's right. And that's once again, it's if somebody wants to read a history of World War II, right, and they're a neo-Nazi and they want to do neo-Nazi stuff with it, it's not the historian's fault.
Well, they're going to read a different book than anything we're going to recommend. All right, so let me explain what happened here. I was going to activate Crook, but then because based on what you did, because you won 5 initiatives in a row, there's no point in making that activation with Crook anymore, so I'm activating Thomas. I've already fatigued everybody, and I need to roll for the movement. So that 2d6 roll for Crook is nothing. So we're going with 3 here, which I guess is enough. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Well, it was just a crap roll, to be honest. All right, let me get rid of these breastworks. All right, I'm done. Let's roll off.
All righty then.
That is a Union initiative. I am going to activate Crook now, actually. For 10, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
All right.
I'll have to go
Let's
there.
roll.
That is the Union initiative.
Of course it is.
You did just roll like 5 in a row. Man, you had a bunch in a row last time.
I counted. It was 3.
Okay. That's fair. All right. We're going to activate a wagon train for a strat move. Not this wagon train, though. It's going to be 2015.
All right, let's roll. I do think, oh.
All right, now I'm done. Let's roll.
All right, I rolled a 6. You rolled a 6.
Okay,
right.
So Confederate initiative.
Let's see. What am I going to do here? We are going to activate Polk again. Everybody under Polk. And we're going to get ourselves 6 out of that. And cheat them first.
But I would recommend Catton as well to return briefly to that.
Catton's one of my Catton's quite good, but that's what I'm saying is
Well, I don't want to get too deep in these particular weeds here, but it's the American Civil War, right? And we're Americans. Right. So and for a variety of reasons, the subject, the context around the American Civil War remains highly politically charged in America.
Right. And it's become more highly politically charged in the last 10 years.
That's I definitely. I mean, I think that's a long-running trend, but it's certainly become more inflammatory in the last 10 years. I can't. Right. I don't think that's disputable in any way.
So, all right, let's roll. I made my move. Poke's done. Roll, and you can keep talking about it because it's interesting topic.
It's a union initiative.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I what I like about Catton far more than McPherson is when it comes to the military history, it's far more exhaustive and complete. McPherson's a little bit.
It's a one-volume history, though. I mean, yeah, Catton had a huge variety of things that a large number of books that he explored the topic with.
Right. Catton's like not quite a pop history guy, but close to it. Here's a one-volume history, so it's kind of like for if you're just starting off,
all right,
type of book.
I'm going to activate Thomas again, but Thomas is only activating Baird and Negley.
Right.
4. All right, so that's good. So 1, 2, 3. We'll be satisfied with that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Be satisfied with that. Make sure I got. Yeah. Okay. Very good. All right. Let's roll.
You again, sir.
All right. We're going to activate. Let's see what's available here. We're going to activate Mitchell for 10. Let's see here.
Yeah. I agree, Jacob Getty. I think that's a hot button. I don't want to start a war about that in the chat here, but I generally agree with completely. I mean, local communities should be able to decide whatever happens on their local land.
Well, it sounds like they decided.
Is my take. Right. Exactly.
Actually, a very interesting thing happened. Apparently there's some. I never heard of this guy. I had no idea he had a statue. Apparently there's a statue of some slave trader somewhere in Bristol, England. The Black Lives Matter protesters in Bristol, England, tore down the statue, dragged it through the streets, and threw it into the sea.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. All right. Let's roll. 1 die. All right.
You again.
That is a union initiative. We're going to activate these wagon trains.
That's not the community action I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of a vote by a local council, by their representatives.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't even something that got talked about
right.
in Bristol, England.
Right. And the point is, most of the monuments were put up by the UDC, United Daughters of the Confederacy, and it was all about promoting the lost cause and justifying, in my opinion, right? Certain,
no, that's indisputably true. Actually, right. One of those statues and I only know this because I saw. Those statues were manufactured very cheaply so that they could be manufactured in large numbers. So they're actually, whatever they're made of, bronze presumably, but they're very thin, hollow bronze. And you can see in some cases when they get pulled down where they just kind of crumple, and that's why.
But I also feel strongly about other things. So if you go to some small towns, there are, monuments to war dead from that town or that county. You know, and the county could decide to pull something down if it wanted to. But I think that's very different.
It is,
You know
but
what
I
I
am
mean?
unaware of any such monuments being affected in the
Right. No,
current
I'm just talking about
stuff.
I'm just talking about types of monuments, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's an appropriate way to memorialize Civil War dead from either side, right?
There was one when 3 years ago when, you know, it was a very hot button issue. There's a monument to Confederate prisoners of war who died in a Union prisoner of war camp in Indianapolis, I believe.
Yes.
And it was defaced, right? And that I take issue with, because I'm like, this isn't a statue of Lee, you know, or something placed somewhere to, you know, as an ideological underpinning to Jim Crow. This is because, you know,
well,
soldiers,
Civil War prison camps on both sides were bad places.
Right. They were death camps. Right.
Yeah. But there's, you know, are there, and again, I don't really want, these are not weeds I particularly want to get into.
No, but there is indeed a monument to Union dead at Andersonville, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, that's appropriate. You know, right? So, all right. So my turn.
Yes, please.
Roll.
We got to roll.
You again.
All right, that is me. We're going to activate Crittenden. Kind of pinned on the side of the map here, unfortunately.
I'm also of the opinion that screwing around with graveyards, which has happened a little bit recently, is that I'm not cool with at all. Right? So it's nuanced, you know.
Oh,
going with the unwashed public comment you were making, you know, the unwashed public sometimes doesn't distinguish between different. That's not a monument, you know. That's like a gravestone.
All right, here's the roll. 4. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Get rid of these. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Not yet. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it for that.
Let's roll.
That is a Confederate initiative.
Walker's activating everybody for 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nah, we're going to do that opposite land. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we roll. Your initiative.
Okay. We're going to activate Crittenden again. For a giant 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's roll.
Tie at 4.
That is an insubordination check. We'll roll for Polk.
All right, here we go. He is insubordinate.
He is insubordinate.
And it's too late.
Probably.
Polk's already done all his Polk stuff. All right, let's roll.
That's a Union initiative.
It is.
We're going to activate Brannon, who I somehow forgot to activate before. Let's roll.
Well, he was way behind. That's the...
He was with it. I think he was within range of Reynolds, but that's like 8 initiatives ago. So we can't, you know, I forgot him. We can't back that up.
Right. Okay.
So go ahead and roll.
All right. So you were talking about like me having so many initiatives in a row.
That's streaky, right? It happens.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So let's
this is every turn.
Activate Brannon again. Well, let's roll.
Finally. Let's see here. Forest is going to activate everybody. Ooh, for a good solid 11. So if there's 9 someplace, how many extra movement points is that going to cost me in a non-mountain hex?
Oh, if it's city, clear, rough, rolling, or hills, it's +1.
Okay.
If it's woods, swamp, or mountain, I don't know if there's any swamp even on this map. I think there is.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And all right, let's roll. That is a Confederate
initiative.
First time I've seen the tie Confederate initiative.
We had one last turn.
An Eon. All right, we're going to activate Force 7.
All right, where's that? I got it. Never mind.
Wow, that was weird. That glitched like nobody's business. All right. That was 1, 2. All right, there we go. Nope, let me... Okay, so he's in Underwood. 1, 2, 3. It glitched and then went like 5 hexes away from where...
I've seen that happen. In fact, I've seen that happen on every single vassal installation I've done, where it'll just like freeze up for a second, and I think it depends on mouse movement while it's freezed, and the units will just drop somewhere at random.
Right. Okay, let's roll.
That's a Union initiative.
It is.
We're going to activate... let's actually activate Minty.
All right.
For 5. 6. 5. And he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, let me think that movement through. Hold on. No, that's pretty much where he's gone. No, that's not where he's going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go.
Okay. Let's...
Is that 2 yours?
That 2 is mine.
All right, so that's a Union initiative. We're going to activate Force 8 for a giant 2. Let's roll. That's way south, by the way.
Yeah.
That's me again.
So I've been counting. Yes. So before my last initiative, you had 8 in a row, and now you're at 3. Continue.
Okay. I'm going to activate Force 8 again for 3. Let's roll. That's me again.
That's 4 in a row.
All right, we're going to activate. Get rid of that. We're going to activate. McCook will activate Sheridan. Only Sheridan.
Okay.
So that's 7. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Don't forget. Yeah. Let's roll.
I'm going to activate a wagon train along with that, I think.
Oh. Okay.
That's actually not even there, so never mind. Let's roll. That is an insubordination. Polk's already insubordinate, right?
Right.
Roll for Hill.
Nope.
Nope. All right, let's roll. That is a Confederate tied initiative.
Yes. So, let's see. Well, that's crazy. These guys should be here. Yeah, these guys should be here. All right. We are going to activate Hill, Beak of the Devil. He's going to activate basically everybody under him for a good solid 7. So, how do I want to do that? Yeah, I do. Go up to Chanta. One, 2, 3, 6. Time to get big stacks. All right, let's roll.
That is a Confederate initiative. That's our third one of those this turn, I believe.
Yeah, we haven't seen a whole lot of those 6 ties. All right, so we are going to activate. Martin's going to activate everybody in Chattanooga. And we're going to activate some wagons too. So first, all the cav. All right, that's a 9. And then the wagons. Wagons get a 6 out of the deal. All right. Morgan first.
You don't get the +1 for the wagons, though.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, because they're wagons. You do get a little more than the Union does if you strat move them, though.
Well, you broke up a little bit there.
You do get more movement points if you strat move wagons than the Union does.
Yeah, interesting.
Look at that. No, I'm going to say you do get the +1. Just based on the way the strat move works. I'm not going to look it up. I'm going to say you get it.
Oh, for strat move? Well,
for regular movement. I'm saying I think you get the +1. Based on the way the strat move allowances are for wagons for between the two sides, I think you do get the +1.
Well, we're actually going to strat move those wagons.
Okay.
So I'm going to give them...
That is on the player aid, by the way.
Is it? Where?
Yeah, it's on the last page.
Last cavalry
Same
retreat.
page as so in the module.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Fatigue levels expended.
Yeah, it's on the movement tab.
Yeah, we're gonna expend a bunch. Okay, that's that. Let us roll again.
That is
Confederate again.
Yep.
Another Martin Cavalry activation. Here we go. Oh, 12. 13. Huge. Eight.
Who's moving?
All Martin's Cavalry. That
okay.
Chattanooga.
Gotcha.
You just made me lose count. Hold on. $13. All right, let's roll.
It's Confederate
Another
initiative.
Confederate. Yeah, we've had several in a row. We're going to activate Force 7. For 6. All right, let's roll. Your initiative.
That's a Union initiative. We're going to activate 39th Indiana Mounted Rifles.
Okay.
For 9.
Said that very officially.
That's 2. Show me what's in Force 8, please.
Nothing's in Force 8.
Okay. Well, I guess. All right. Very good. So that was 2, and I got 9. All right. Go there. All right. Let's roll. That's a Confederate initiative.
Let's see here. Joe Wheeler is going to activate his command. They're going to activate for 11. No. Wrong button. Fatigue. All right, all y'all, come here. Let's roll.
It's a Confederate initiative.
We got some wagons that are going to do a strat move. And that's that.
Let's roll. All right, we have a Union initiative. We're going to activate force. We're going to activate force 8 for 1. Go ahead. Let's roll.
Let's roll.
That's a tie. That's an insubordination check. We'll roll for Hill again. Doesn't really matter, but roll for him anyway.
Nope.
Nope. All right, let's roll again. Confederate initiative.
We're going to pass.
I'm going to activate force 10 for 3. Let's roll.
TH Hill, let me roll. He's not insubordinate. Go ahead.
Let's roll again. Oh, no, wait. That's my move. No, we need to roll again. So that's my roll for it. For initiative.
Your initiative.
All right. We're going to roll for force 10 again. That's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's roll.
The Confederate initiative.
Do I really want to pass? Yes, I really want to pass.
I'm going to activate Sheridan. All right. Somehow the fatigue marker didn't end up on 39th Indiana. I'm actually going to activate 39th Indiana again. So, 11. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's roll again. That's
TH Hill.
Yep.
I'm going to roll.
Nope.
Fail.
All
Roll
right.
again.
Roll again. Let's roll for DHL again.
He's finally insubordinate.
He's finally had enough of Bragg for the day.
But it really doesn't matter.
It probably doesn't.
All right. So let's roll. I pass.
Okay. I'm going to activate Sheridan. And this has to, damn it, be that. All right. He goes 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's roll. Union initiative. We're going to activate Watkins for 7. Let's roll. Confederate initiative.
I pass.
Activate Force 9. Let's roll.
Oh, we're rolling again for initiative. All right.
Yep.
Go ahead.
That's Union. Let's see. I believe we're gonna pass as well at this time. All right, so action phase is over with. Recovery. The first thing we're going to do is try and build this bridge, because that actually happens first. That won't do it. Okay. Anything else? Do you want to repair? Where is it? When does that happen? Hold on. I'm going to say it happens right now. You can repair that damaged railroad station if you want.
Yes, I indeed do want to.
Okay, so you'll have to... I'll just pull it off. There you go. Okay. I don't think there's anything else for us to do other than hit the button.
Hit the button.
All right, so let's make sure.
Let's Simonize everybody, as they say. All right. Hey, those guys look good. Them guys look good. He looks good.
I think everything's okay.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything crazy.
Okay. All right. So in that case, this is turn 7, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's the end of the turn, and we should probably call it here.
This is, however, the
advance.
Strategic turn. So
No,
we might as well do that.
That's next turn.
This is...
Turn 8 is the strategic turn. So
Weren't
that
we
will
just-
happen. That will happen after the action phase this coming turn. So what we can do is do the stuff up to the action phase.
Okay, so no, but I'm curious. Okay, so the strategic stuff happens at the end of that turn. So
yeah, pretty much.
Not at the beginning of it.
Correct.
Okay, cool. All right, continue.
All right, so let's roll for a random event. You can roll this time.
I shall.
11. Cache of flatboats. All right, what does this do? This is not one that has come up before. All right, one player rolls a die, so go ahead and roll a die.
One die?
Yeah.
3.
All right. Result is 1 to 3. It applies to the Union player who can use it to build a pontoon bridge or repair a ferry. Benefiting player selects an infantry unit of 5 or more manpower adjacent to a forward ferry or destroyed bridge, may immediately attempt to repair a ferry with that unit and subtracts 3 in addition to all other modifiers. All right, so that's cool.
I think it kind of doesn't matter anymore.
It does.
Okay, all right.
No, it totally does.
Across. All right.
I can't bring wagon trains across a ford, across a ferry. I don't think. So it totally does. So we're down here over by Rutherford down along the south. So let's roll. And we're subtracting 5. That is a 7. Minus 5 is 2. So that actually is a repair or a pontoon bridge. So you have a pontoon bridge. Let me pull that marker out. Where did my wagon train go? Shit. I think I accidentally deleted him.
So go use the undo button.
Yep, I totally accidentally deleted him. All right, there we go. That's the better option, and then that's there. All right, so that's our random event. Reinforcements, you have anything coming in?
Let me look. I don't think so. The answer is no. We are what date are we on?
This is September 5th.
No. The answer is no, no, no. Nay, nay, nay.
All right. Next is off-map transfer. You have any of those? You know I don't.
I do not.
Just because where I am on that map. Leader transfer. I probably do have a leader transfer. I probably don't, actually. Okay.
Do I? No, I don't. I do not. That's it.
All right. All right. County control. No counties have changed hands. Attachments and detachments.
Nope.
I do have one. Okay, and that's the end. So we are about to start the action cycle of turn 8.
7?
This is turn 8.
Turn 8. We have made a lot of progress today.
Right. We have. Well, we missed last week, so.
Turn 8. Okie dokie. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Hopefully we'll be back with this tomorrow night.
Yep, so here's the plan for the week. We are going to do a turn or two, whatever we get done, tomorrow night starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, and then Pat and I will be back on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern with a hot, dry season. And then next Sunday we should be back at this, and that basically is the schedule for the week. So I'd like everybody to have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll see you all tomorrow.